Okay, here we go. So, this is Mike.
Wait, let's try that again. Let's try not to start with so.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
So. Okay.
Yeah, let's not start with so, but okay is fine. Hi, I'm Mike.
Hey, I'm Caleb.
And you're listening to
Modern
Era Fitness
Podcast.
I think that's our intro.
Yep. Okay, as you can tell, we're pros at this.
We're not pros. We're new. We're brand new.
Yeah.
We don't know what we're doing.
No, but just so you guys know what this podcast is going to be about, we are both dedicated to promoting healthy lifestyles through personal training, weight training, nutrition, and self-defense, and good old-fashioned healthy lifestyle choices.
And we're not too serious about it. We are serious about it. It's what our passion is, but we're not going to be super serious and, oh, you got to do this, oh, you got to do that, and you can't have any fun with it. We like to have fun with it. So, here we are.
Yeah. And hopefully that comes across to you guys. You can see where we're coming from. And if you pick up something from this show and apply it to your life, well, fantastic. If not, I can recommend some other better podcasts for you.
Yeah. My brother and me.
Yeah.
We both like that one.
Hashtag Mabimbam.
If you want to get a hold of us, Twitter is the best way, at MEF Podcast.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah. Or you can find us on Facebook. Search for Modern Era Fitness Podcast. You can find us there. We've also got a Gmail. So the reason why we're starting up front with all this contact information is because we want to hear from you guys. We want to know what you guys want to know about. And we love to share what we do and our views on things through the lens of what we do. What I do, I am a martial arts instructor.
Get out of town.
Yeah. And I work out of the same facility as Mike.
Yeah, we run a facility together. Two separate businesses, but we just share the same space. We've been open for a little more than a year, and it is working out great.
Yeah. So, Mike, what do you do?
I am a personal trainer, and I teach some fitness classes here.
Sweet.
Boot camps, things like that.
Sweet. What you say boot camp? What does that look like?
So boot camp, well, I'm a Marine Corps veteran, so boot camp is not like Marine Corps boot camp. I'll say that much. It's just more of a way that I can train a lot of people and have kind of a fitness class that kind of touches on everything. But it's also kind of unforgiving. If you want to come in and work really hard and see progress, you can. If you want to come in and just kind of survive it and just maybe kind of get introduced to something, it's a great way to do that too.
Yeah, having taken the class, being a regular attendee, I can vouch for it. And the group of people we have are super supportive. Mike's a great trainer, and
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be here if I didn't think that.
It's about damn time I got this recognition.
You hear that, Mom and Dad? Somebody likes me.
I can do it.
Yeah. Screw you, Dad. But seriously, we've got a great group of people that train at those boot camp classes.
You sure do.
Yeah, and they're all supportive. It's a great environment. Everybody's there to have fun, but at the same time, they're focused and serious about the work that they're doing. So if you're in the Salem area and you're looking for a way to get active, I highly recommend checking it out. And in addition to a good, solid workout, you're going to make a great group of friends.
Yes.
That will stick with you through thick and thin. This is the place where we get ugly together and we're in the trenches together.
Yeah. Well, and that and the boot camp classes are really meant to get you out of your comfort zone. And if you're an accomplished athlete and you do everything and you're a triathlon athlete, even if you come to these boot camps, you're going to find something you're just like, oh, I've never quite done it this way, and it throws some people for a loop, and that's kind of the point, to get people out of their comfort zone and have fun doing it, and it's all for a reason. I don't just make something up, like open and close the door as fast as you can for 30 seconds, go, which we have actually done for a video.
Yeah. It'll be out on YouTube soon, so you can look for that. It's fun. Along those lines, kind of what he was saying about it being a new thing for people, pushing you out of your comfort zone. That's exactly, well, I wouldn't say comfort zone for me, but it was something completely new. In martial arts, it's kind of a big deal to, sometimes with rank, people get big heads. And what I encourage people to do to combat that is to try something new all the time. So that way to put it into martial arts term, you're always a white belt. You're always at the bottom rung, always trying something new. If you're in martial arts out there and you're listening to this, this is a great way to bolster your training, to kind of improve your strength, endurance, and technique in a practical way. Because the movements we do in boot camp are realistic movements. They're full body movements. What's the term I'm looking for? Compound movement. Using
Complex.
your whole body, and in practical ways. It's not just lifting a weight
Hey.
one direction. You're getting muscle groups from every angle. So that's my pitch.
I think you touched on something that was talking about, always being a white belt, so to speak, at least mentality-wise. I think that can be applied to fitness and to entrepreneurship as well. I mean, if you keep that beginner mentality, you're going to keep an open mind, you're going to learn a lot, and you're not going to get a big head and have that fall that comes with it.
Yeah, open to evolvement.
Yes.
I like that. So just a little background on what I do. I've been teaching martial arts for, I don't know, a good number of years.
What would you say? I think that's important. I think we should let people know how long we've been doing this, or how long you've been doing your thing.
No, I got to think about it. I don't know, 7 years?
Wow.
Something like that. That's how long I've been teaching, but I've been practicing martial arts for a little over a decade now. And I should mention that when I first got into teaching, it was under my instructor, so it wasn't like I had my own school right off the get-go.
Right.
He kind of raised me up as an instructor, and then set me free and watched
Set
me
you
fly.
free and
Yeah.
But make your own school.
Yeah, but I ended up taking over the school from him because his family was growing and he got a new job in a city outside of the mid-Willamette Valley, and so it just didn't have the time for it, and family was a priority, which I totally get. And so he kind of trained me up and then said, "Here you go," and that's how I got to where I am now, and it's been a fun and wild ride.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What else can you tell us?
I don't know. What do you want to know about? I could talk about bicycles.
Well,
I could talk about.
What's the coolest thing you've ever done or seen in your years of teaching martial arts?
Oh boy, the coolest thing I've seen. When people start training, they start training for different reasons. Some people it's to learn self-defense. For some people it's to learn discipline. For some people it's for that belt. They have this vision of what a black belt is and what they should be able to do. And that tends to evolve along the way of training through the ranks. But no matter what the reason for training is, when that black belt test happens, you are worn down to your base. Like the idea, at least in our system, the idea is to strip somebody down of all of their physical capabilities.
Right.
Just wear them out,
wear them
out, and see how they react mentally to being pushed even farther.
Right.
And when you do that for a physical test, and you think about the years that they've spent training for that day, and you award them their black belt, invariably there is always a palpable emotion that you can feel from them, and oftentimes people will tear up. Doesn't matter how tough and gruff you are. You think about the years and the hours and hours and hours of commitment that you put into that to finally achieve that, and to be one of those people that you looked up to before. That's the coolest thing that I think I've seen.
Right.
And the benefit of being an instructor is you get to see that over and over and over and over.
Seeing people achieve a large goal
Yeah,
that you really
exactly.
helped to set up.
It's a long-term goal with a bunch of short-term goals in between.
Yeah.
And that long-term goal is a very special one to be a part of. So I don't take it lightly.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
I was thinking about what you were saying, so that's why I wasn't really talking. But
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
For the listeners, he furrowed his brow.
I furrowed my brow. Furrowed it good.
You'll have to say that so people, they don't think it's just dead silence with no purpose.
Yeah.
You say furrowing brow.
Or say it like I'm reading off of a script, like Mike furrows his brow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get to watch, for everybody listening, I get to watch Caleb teach sometimes. Like we have tandem instruction going. So I'll be training an individual while he's having a class going or an open mat going on or whatever. Or his teacher will come in, like he came in today while I was training a client. But I got to catch a
Shout
clip.
out to Sifu Mike Beckley.
Yeah. So I got to see you and your teacher kind of interact and practice a few things, and I thought that was pretty cool to watch too.
I cherish those times. They don't happen often enough.
Is that a hint?
No, no. It's it's one thing to teach, and it's another thing to be taught. I should clarify that I'm always being taught by my students, even when I'm supposed to be the teacher. I'm learning from them as well. But to have time set aside with your instructor is always a good thing. Yeah, got to keep that growth.
Yeah, I could say the same for a lot of my clients. Most of them have taught me something.
Yeah.
And the ones that haven't yet, it's just because they've just started this week.
Yeah.
And we have yet to touch a weight. It's all been the sitting down and talking and finding out where they're coming from, where they want to go.
Yeah, you don't really figure out what a person is really like until you push them.
Right.
Like you make them sweat, you make them work, you make sometimes hurt, hopefully not through injury, but through just pushing them to their limits.
Yeah.
And then you can really tell a lot about a person by how they react and if they want to come back.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the funnest things for me is helping people find the fact that their limits are 99% mentally imposed. So you have your limits, and then you have your perceived limits.
Mm.
So I think convincing people and showing people like, hey, you have more limit than you know, and just kind of suggesting like, hey, if you want to finish your set of 12, go ahead. But if you want to do a few more, go ahead too.
Yeah.
And I can tell that they're at that limit where if they get 12, cool, awesome. If they do 13, 14, or 20, then they're pushing the limit. And I give them that option. I throw that out there.
Do you ever...
And I point to the fact after that set, and I'm like, hey, you did really well. We had this limit that you've been flirting with for 2 weeks, and you just blew it out of the water because you just felt like it, because you have a drive to push your own limits. So just keep that in mind when you're working out.
Interesting. Do you ever feel like there's a time where you have to rein somebody in order to affect good training? Does that make sense?
Yes. So some people naturally are just more aggressive when they train, and that's great. But safety comes into play. If you're doing, let's say squats. Squats can be dangerous, and they can do some real damage if you have bad form or don't practice good form. And if you just try to lift as heavy as you can, as fast as you can, things start popping real quick. So you sometimes have to rein people in, slow them down, focus more on tempo and form. And actually, that just happened today. I worked with somebody on squats, and
I saw that.
slowed them down. Put the weight back on the heels. Don't let those knees come forward. Keep that chin up. And just work on the basics.
Yeah.
But you can still work on those basics. Form is always first. And if you keep that form, you can go as hard as you want. But once that form starts slipping and starts going out of whack, I cut them off.
That's good to hear. And we were just talking about something similar to that in our adult self-defense class last night, actually, about how people see these folks doing advanced moves or heavyweight or something like that. And what people tend to forget is that in order to get there, you have to learn the basics. And all an advanced set of movements is a bunch of basic movements put together. And once you get those basic movements put together, you compound them, and now you're doing advanced stuff. So you never want to neglect form and basics. That's why even in in our advanced class, we would practice something as simple as a stance.
Right.
Just drill the stance, because that's going to help you do your advanced stuff more effectively.
Yeah, I can say that I have the same kind of experience, training people that have been training with me for a couple of years, and they come in and I say, okay, we're doing body weight exercises today, and they go, oh, really? They're used to lifting, twice their body weight multiple times in different exercises and different forms of resistance training. And I say, yeah, we're doing body weight squats. The one of the first exercises you can do that you can do at home. Yeah, we're doing that.
Yeah, I'm guilty, and Mike has caught me on this several times. Like, and this is part of the whole being humble and being a white belt perpetually. When I see people lift weights, especially Mike, I see people putting on those big plates on the bar, and I think, well, gosh, I should be able to do that.
Yeah.
And so I'm so fixated on big plates and big numbers that I tear up my shoulders or something like that. And so I constantly have to tell myself, and sometimes require the input of someone else more qualified than me to tell me, hey, hold it back, dude.
Yeah.
You got to do it right before you can go heavy. So, and it just means it's going to take me longer to get to what I envision as big numbers, but I'd rather do it the right way than not be able to do it at all because I hurt myself.
Right. Yeah, and it takes time, and it takes consistency, time, and patience. So, thanks for listening. We're going to close it up. I'm Mike.
And I'm Caleb.
And you're listening to Modern Era Fitness Podcast. Thanks for listening in.
Yeah. And don't forget to send us your question. And it can be about
anything.
Pretty darn near anything. You can ask us questions via Twitter at MEF Podcast or hashtag MEF Podcast. We'd love to hear from you guys. Any questions you might have.
Thanks for listening. Peace out. Mic drop. That's the sound they make.
Screw you, Dad.